Hey, business building warrior. Welcome to Silent Sales Machine Radio. I've got a guest who I'll be bringing on in a couple minutes that you're thoroughly going to enjoy. This is Eric Nguyen. He's Vietnamese. He has built an amazing company. He just recently had a $6,000 sales day, and he has 35 virtual assistants that he's hired from his home country, Vietnam, where the US dollar goes very far. So he's able to hire people, just like you hear us talking about sometimes. We talk about the Philippines, where the average hourly wage is about $1 per hour US. Very similar in Vietnam. And he's got a talent pool of people that have helped him build his business. He's basically using the Replen system, looking for great inventory online or in retail stores. In this case, he's almost exclusively online sourcing for his inventory using the system we teach in the Proven Amazon course, which is serving the underserved shelf space at Amazon.com with inventory and doing so in a very profitable way. So he's built a beautiful business and just get this, 8 months. He's been doing this 8 months. He loves our community. He talks about the conference he just attended with us. Of course, we were in Columbus, Ohio, here just a few weeks ago as I'm recording this. And he said the event blew him away. You can hear him describe it for himself here in just a couple minutes. We're also eagerly and excitedly planning the event for 2024. I know that sounds crazy, but already over 200 people have locked in and said they're going to the 2024 event. They've already paid for the tickets, booking their hotel rooms. It's happening. You can get over to theprovenconference.com and get details. That's May 23rd through 25th of 2024. Theprovenconference.com has details there. Tickets will be on sale soon. You want to get them fast. VIP has sold out. VIP tickets sell out every year. This is going to be our 12th year doing this event. VIP tickets will sell out again this year. We've already sold a good number of them, actually. So you want to get on the early notification list for when those sales happen. We sold to the people, the tickets that have already sold were only for the people who attended in our event a few weeks ago. It was like an early bird thing. Well, we'll have more information very soon on the upcoming event as well, which you're going to hear Eric talking quite a bit about. He was blown away by something we spent a lot of time talking about today, which is the abundance mentality of this community. And if you haven't been exposed to that yet, what that simply means is that we see success as something that anybody who wants to participate can have as much of as they'd like. A scarcity mindset would say, well, only some people get to have success, and then there's none left for the rest of us. It's kind of like the Eeyore. Remember the old Winnie the Pooh? Like it's the Eeyore vantage point of business opportunity and success. Whereas those of us who know how the world actually works see success as something that's available in extreme abundance, which allows us to openly share ideas, concepts, strategies, resources, and partner up in creative, fun ways with people who some might see as competitors, but we don't see each other as competitors, which is why over 600 of us gathered in live in person recently, and why over 73,000 of us hang out every day from around the world in our free Facebook group, which you can absolutely join anytime you'd like at silentjimdotcom. There's a link to that. Eric's in there. You'll see posts by him. That's what prompted me to reach out to him, was this exciting post where his business was exploding. And he's still learning. He doesn't know it all by any means yet, but he's grasped the basics, the Replen system, as taught again in the Proven Amazon course. He's built a beautiful system very rapidly, and we're super excited to see him emerging as one of these incredible leadership success stories from our community. No reason you can't follow suit. Looking over my notes to see if there's anything else I should mention before we jump in. You're going to hear some resources mentioned today on today's episode. We'll stick links to all those in the show notes, some of the tools that Eric's using, that sort of thing. You've heard them all mentioned before. There's no new magical secret sauce in this episode. We've interviewed hundreds of successful, proven Amazon course students. And the reason we love doing these interviews is, again, there's always a little something new to learn, a little something that reminds you or a strategy you want to try. Eric's starting to get into some branded bundles. We've got some tremendous content about building bundles in our Proven Amazon course and in our community. That's one of the new strategies he's trying. But it's not so much about finding that one perfect strategy as it is just realizing one day and deciding and discovering, internalizing, hey, this is legitimate. I can do this. Look at these other people that are doing it. Look at all these people that are doing it. Look how expansive this opportunity is. Look how the opportunity keeps getting bigger. I think I'm going to get serious about it and do this. That's why we do these interviews, to inspire and encourage, and then also equip you. It's going to give you a great shove in the right direction and then welcome you warmly into this community of people who are using the internet creatively every day to launch and build the businesses of their dreams. That's what we do here. And we love bringing you great examples of people who are doing just that from our community. Here's the latest episode. Enjoy this conversation with Mr. Eric Nguyen. But Eric, welcome to Silent Sales Machine Radio. Good to see you, buddy.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited to get on here and share my story and hopefully motivate other entrepreneurs to start a journey and keep going, So it's kind of feel kind of lonely sometimes. You just
Yeah.
the computer all day long and
Right.
no one really like know what you're doing. You don't know what other people are doing, and like, am I the only one that crazy in there, go out and hustling on Amazon? So
Right.
like, it's great to see your community, and it's amazing.
Well, thank you for being a part of it. I love your energy already. I am super excited to get into your story, buddy. Let's go. Floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so basically, I discovered the Amazon opportunity from one of the good friend of mine. His name is Nguyen. I don't know if you know him here in Houston, and we have a community of Vietnamese Amazon seller on Amazon, and we just share knowledge for free. And I'm like, one day, I'm like, hey, this guy is a millionaire in California, Vietnamese teaching us on how to sell on Amazon, and you don't take any risk of inventory by just go to discount store, getting stuff, selling on Amazon. Like, and then I tell to all my friends, I'm like, hey, this for free, like teach, they teach for free and just go learn. They're like, is it like a scam? It's just too good to be true. And then I'm like, hey man, like if it's a scam, then be it. I don't lose anything. And the upside is like, oh my God, that guy millionaire. So, I may be millionaire too, hopefully, so let's do it. So like that's what I've been looking for, an opportunity all my life, because so I started back in like 2 years ago, like 5 years ago, when I'm in corporate America,
Hmm.
and I'm just do real estate full time. I quit my job, and then I flip houses, and I feel
Okay.
like, man, it's so empty inside that when you flip the house, you sell it, it's gone. And now I found the opportunity to do Amazon. It's like it's like a dream come true to build a legacy for my family. So I'm like, okay, let's do it. So I learned, and then like luckily I met Lou, and he just showed me everything he know about risk, about e-commerce, about Amazon, and I just try it out and build my team. And luckily, I have a lot of good people working for me in Vietnam, and I train them from scratch. I went from 0 to 35 people in 8 months, and right now my sales is about 6,000 a day. So I'm really
Wow.
grateful for the team that helping me every day. And
From 0 to 35 VAs in
yeah,
8 months, virtual assistants, right? And you said they're Vietnamese. That's fantastic. So, what is and we talk about virtual assistants on this show all the time. Typically, it's Philippines, where the average hourly wage on the island is about $1 US per hour. What do you see in the Philippines?
in Vietnam,
I'm
we have.
sorry, in Vietnam. I apologize.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so in Vietnam, the same range is $5 an hour,
Hmm.
and it's kind of sad sometimes. Like in America, the salary average is $15 an hour, and
Hmm.
I have a hard time finding people working at my warehouse. You
Right.
know, so like in Vietnam, like a lot of people, they don't have jobs, they're struggling with day to day. So when I found this opportunity, and that's exactly what the guy in California did, he outsources the whole operation to Vietnam, and the only thing he do here is warehouse. And I'm like, man, this opportunity is amazing, because basically you took advantage of the arbitrage of three things, right? The first thing is the product. The
Right.
second thing is the salary, right?
Mhm.
And the third thing is the knowledge that the Vietnamese people can bring. So I'm like, wow, like I can help my country, I can help my people, I can make the world a better place by just helping raise up the income of everyone. And, Amazon going to be a great place for my customer. So it's like, wow, it's amazing opportunity.
Fantastic. Yeah, I love the way you said it. You're arbitraging not just the product, but other people's time, the salary, the difference in the salary there. $5 goes a whole lot further in Vietnam than it does in the US.
For sure.
Same with the Philippines, right? And you've really tapped into that at scale. 35 virtual assistants is incredible. So I'm sure we'll get into that at some point, but I want to hear more about that. But tell me more about your journey. You started off selling what? What type of products were you buying and selling, and how did you continue your education? Like, let's just talk about the journey a little more.
Yes. So basically, the guy in California teach us a simplified model of what I'm doing now. So I'm just learning his video for free. I'm just so grateful. Everything now on YouTube is free. It's amazing.
Mhm.
So I'm learning, but so I have to pay a lot of mistake for it because I didn't know about your course and the proven method. It's amazing. I heard so much story about people who do your course and then be successful, but I didn't know, until the conference basically. So I have to go through a lot of trial and error and failure. I still have a lot of stuff that at my house that I haven't sold, on the
Right.
expired product, and it's just the whole trial and error for me. But through that, I think life is a constant cycle of failure and learn from your failure and then move
Mm,
on to the next level and then
yeah.
failure, move on, right? So it's just like you have failure for a reason. And if you don't fix it, then you're gonna keep having the same problem over and over and over again, right? So that's the thing that I learned. So when I have failure, that's fine with me. I learn from it and I improve my system, and then I build process to fix that failure later on, so I don't repeat the same mistake. So that is my method. But like just trial and error, and then like learning and scaling my team, and then I feel I'm kind of stuck. It's just like, okay, so I have my team of 35 VA. What next? And then Lou, she's just like, hey, you want to go to the conference? Proven conference. Jim is the one who hosted. Amazing guy. I'm like, do I need to go there? Like I thought I already figured out. And then I'm like, okay, let's give it a shot and see what happened. This guy talks so much, just want to shut him out. And then I went there with a team of 5 people from the community, and then oh my god, it's the best decision of my life. The conference, the
Wow.
vibe, the knowledge, like everything. Like you host a conference from like basically A to Z, like warehouse, how to source product, OA, RA, private label. Oh my god, it's like everything in there. And the thing I love the most is the bundle. So I'm
Mm,
like, man, like I know exactly what I'm doing now. And when I come back, man, I started the whole plan, for the next 3 5 years, what I'm gonna do next. And I make some good connection with people who are gonna partner up with me instead of me doing alone. And
yeah.
it's just amazing
I'm
conference,
so
man.
glad you were
Thank
able
you
to be at
for
the
putting it
conference.
together.
That was your first conference with us then, I take it. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. I wish I know you earlier. Like I said, man, this is so much trial and error. So
Yeah.
one thing I think like new people they need to think about is, like you need to trade money for time, because time
Mhm.
is so important.
Yes.
And you pay what you value the least, right? Like, do you value money less than your time? And not only time, the failure and the money that you lose when you fail, man, that's a lot. So like just spend some money for some courses with the one who really know what he doing, like your. And I mean, like, just find a mentor, to teach you how to do it. I mean, I'm lucky to have that guy to show me a simplified form of how to build a business. And I think that can save me a year. That's why I scale so quickly. But if I have your course, man, I don't know, like, it's gonna be like work much faster and less painful for me.
Fantastic. Well, let's talk about I love your energy, and I didn't realize how meaningful the event was to you. So thank you for sharing that with me. I do remember seeing you there, and I agree, it was incredible. But we've got several other podcast episodes where people have talked about their experiences and the event, and we're excited. For those who don't know, the Proven Conference is the name of the event. We're excited about next year's already. It's going to be May 23rd through 25th in Orlando, Florida. Get to theprovenconference.com. Start seeing some details there very soon. But I want to hear more about this 35 virtual assistants that you mentioned. And what are they doing? Are they shopping online? Are you doing online arbitrage, I'm assuming?
Yes. So my model is focusing mainly on online arbitrage because with that model, you can really scale and utilize the arbitrage from Vietnam, the labor, right? So what they're doing is like, people been asking me like, hey, I'm running my operation with 3 people or 1 people. Why you need 35 people? Like what your people doing? But the way I'm developing the company is I break down the OA business into 10 different steps. So the first step is sourcing product, right? So the hardest thing about online arbitrage, I feel, is there's a lot of work involved into that, right? So when you buy the product, you need to make sure it exact match with the one from Amazon, right?
Mhm.
And when they deliver, you make sure it's the right product. When instead of like wrong product and you send to Amazon, customer gonna be pissed. So with my 10 different step method, it's helped me to reduce the workload and it make me systemize the process. And that way I can scale, let's say, hopefully 10x from here. So the 10 step method is one, I have the VA who source the product, then it's sent over to the one who do the vetting of the product according to my criteria, right?
Mhm.
And then when they approve it, then it goes to the purchasing department to buy, right? From Vietnam, I have a way for us to buy from Vietnam instead of here because the purchasing take a lot of time. Then after we purchase it, then the accountant gonna go in there and recheck again if whatever the purchaser buy is correct according to the VA who recommended the price, the listing, the color, everything, right? Then the accounting gonna put into the book and they're gonna analyze on the data, right? And then after that, the accounting person gonna send it over to the pricing person because when the product shipping to your home, you already know exactly tomorrow how many products that gonna arrive at your house, right? So the pricing team gonna say, hey, this product get a price tank, so don't send it in, or this product have a really limited cycle. A lot of people jump on the listing right now. They compare the data from here to the time before they recommend, right?
Mhm.
So they're like, okay, so don't say, so we need to push this product out fast, right? Or they say, oh, this product is good, let's buy some more. So that is the pricing team, what they're doing. So the pricing team do that, then like they send the list to my warehouse, they upload in inventory lab, and
Mhm.
my warehouse go ahead and send it to Amazon the next day, when the stuff arrive. And then my warehouse, after they send it, then we have Helium 10 team who monitor sales, daily sales. So we know exactly, hey, this product, like we send it 2 pack, but actually on Amazon it show like, like 10 product instead of 5 quantity. So that means we send the wrong pack. We send it as single and not double. So those are the quality control that we do. And then after that, then we look into the customer health. One team take care of stranded inventory, Amazon account health, and then we're looking at customer voice as well. So that way we kind of like have the whole system of catching mistake when it happened. So that's why we have a lot of people working for me, and sometimes people like, hey, this guy is nuts, so many people.
Yeah, but you've really broken the systems that are online arbitrage sourcing system, the Replen system, as we call it. You can where you source your product from is irrelevant, but you've got it really dialed in online because you, out of necessity, your team is in another country. You're using a prep center, I assume, right here in the U.S.
I'm using my warehouse
You
right
have
now.
your own warehouse. Okay, you referred to your warehouse. So you've invested in a warehouse. How many people help you run and work that warehouse?
My warehouse, to be honest, I'm new. We only 8 months, so we have to build the whole system, right? First, I have to
Yeah.
build the sourcing team, then I
Mhm.
have to build the accounting team, then I have to build the warehouse team. And sometimes, like the sourcing team get too big and they cannot handle on the back end, so I have to slow down and I have to improve. And then
Yeah.
after that, I improve, then I go back and I build it. So it's kind of constant struggle. So I think like my warehouse team is not where I wanna be, but I feel they're okay. We have about 3 people handling the volume right now.
Okay.
Every day we buy around like 5,000 to 10,000 a day.
Yeah.
So I think 3 people is handling it, not
Full
as
time.
great as
Hmm.
I want, but
Hmm.
it's getting there, hopefully.
Is the warehouse near you? Is that somewhere that you kind of monitor closely?
Yeah, it's right here, like my garage.
Gotcha. Okay, very good. I love it. Well, you've built a beautiful model, and I think what you're illustrating right now is, you've got a team of around 40 people. 35 of them are in another country where the U.S. dollar goes very far. So you've fully leveraged or arbitraged that opportunity, and you're just looking for profitable online inventory that you can confidently flip on Amazon, which is what we train around here, and that's what
Yes.
we do. So beautiful business, man. Congratulations. 8 months and you're already at 35 employees. You said you had a $6,000 a day recently. That's
Yeah,
tremendous,
actually,
man.
that helps me to turn to profit after 8 months. I'm like, oh my God, thank God. Like people always question my decision of having so many people because that's a lot of overhead.
Yeah.
And I always believe that what I'm doing is right. But if money not coming in, then I'm not doing right. And after
Right.
Prime Day, God just show His goodness and just man, it's just abundant favor, just like coming every day, 6,000, 5,000. It's just making money. It's great.
That's fantastic, man. What are your net margins, by the way? Like give us your numbers any way you're comfortable sharing them.
Yeah, we buying when we buy a product, we want to make sure we make around 30 to 35% margin gross, and then we subtract our warehouse inventory, not
Mhm.
inventory, warehouse fixed costs and other salary thing. So with that, like it bring me around 5% right now.
Mhm.
But first year, so next year I don't need to pay for the product to source anymore. So I could use the existing database and that I think gonna reduce and optimize my gross margin, my net margin, and the warehouse. If I can improve, gonna be great. Right now, I pay about $2 per product that we prep, and with the support system that we have. We when we grow the business 2x, 3x, then we only need to add a couple more people for the support system,
Right.
and the VA. Then we have a commission base, so I can scale it 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, hopefully.
Beautiful.
So the
Yeah.
hard thing is breaking even, and we turn profit already. So that's great.
Yeah, what a beautiful business model. Yeah, you went in really hard, really deep, really fast. You've had a pool of funds that were available to you for you to enable you to go into this deep and this hard, but it just shows what's possible with this model. And to my knowledge, there's no one else in our community that's using, dozens of virtual assistants the way you are. I know of plenty of people who are using 5 or 10 VAs, but 35 and completely automated. And you know what you're tapping into, Eric, is the law of specialization. Have you heard of that before?
Yeah, I don't know what you're referring to, but I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, it's actually one of the most established, it's thousands of year old principle. It's a biblical concept, actually. The law of specialization. There's several Bible stories actually where it's illustrated, but
Mm,
basically, it is when a culture is operating at peak performance,
mm,
maximum freedom, maximum security, maximum abundance and prosperity and opportunity, maximum at all levels. People are able to specialize
mm,
and do very specific, small, inch wide, mile deep things. Like, there's a guy in our town, all he does
mm.
is extract wisdom teeth with excellence when they're in a really, really difficult position. And someone's like, that's all he does. That's
Right,
it. Now, if we
right.
were in a culture of chaos, we wouldn't have people like that. It's like, you get a toothache, you get your cousin Ed to pull it with pliers in the back shed. Like we don't have dentists, right? But when you get a culture that's operating at peak performance and efficiency, you get this specialization. So you've got people on your team. The only thing they do is this very precise, very specific, repeating over and over again, getting very good at what they do. So you've optimized the performance of your system by having people in their specific specialized role instead of you doing it all and just never sleeping, right? And just packing, prepping, shipping, doing it all yourself. You've got people in roles where they've specialized. That is the peak performance operation. I
Right.
mean, it revolutionized, the whole industrial revolution was when we started discovering, and the modern day discovery of the law of specialization. That's what Henry Ford did, the assembly line,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
That's what. Who's the guy that made the revolvers? He went from the guy who made some of the first handheld revolvers. He went from a system where guys would sit down and build an entire gun, start to finish,
Mm.
to a system. It was Colt. So I think it was Samuel Colt, to a
Mm.
system where one guy made triggers, another guy made the barrels, another guy made the handles, and another guy did the assembly at the
Mm.
end. And they were making so many more high quality weapons once he rolled out that system, as did Ford with his car assembly line, making so much better cars, so much cheaper than his competitors, that became the standard. And
Right.
it's the law of specialization. So you've
Mm.
tapped into that at scale very quickly as a beautiful experiment. I don't know if I would have been bold enough to do the experiment you did. Like, let's hire
Thank
35
you.
people
So
and give them each
kind.
a little job. And they become really good at that one little job. And what can we do? Well, in 8 months, you can scale to the point where you're selling $5,000-6,000 a day, and you're managing a system and a team of people. So the bigger challenges you have, Eric, I've got to assume, are people management. Like if someone gets sick, like the whole process stops. We got to
Right.
get that
Right.
person right. They're sick. And I know, like in the Philippines, there's typhoons. Like what happens in Vietnam? Like, what are there any kind of common challenges? Is like certain seasons or celebrations, or just like shuts your whole thing down. Have you had any challenges like that?
I do, but it's already passed because I started the business back in November, and then like December come around, and people already told me, "Hey, what do you do when New Year come?" Because like people over there, they kind of like celebrate big New Year. That it take them like
Mm,
1 month, don't do
mhm.
anything, just celebrate
Right.
New Year.
Right.
I'm like, hmm, do I need to shut down my whole business to celebrate New Year? The way I'm set up my company is I specifically build a culture of excellence at my company.
Mhm.
That's what I learned from the book Steve Jobs and Pour Your Heart Into It from Howard School, Starbucks. So I break down my company into 10 different company with these 10 steps that I share with you.
Yeah.
So the people who step up to be the leader at each step gonna be the CEO of my small company later on.
Mhm.
And each person that I'm hiring, I want to make sure they match the value that I'm sharing, which is workaholic. So if you're not workaholic, you're not work with my company.
Right.
And then we build a culture, we build a company together. So there's no employee at my company. We're all leader, and
Mhm.
my dream is to bring product to the world. So at my company, when we work at the company, we're not just an Amazon company.
Right.
We a company that make an impact to the world. So every day, wake up, your purpose is to make money to help people improve their life. So that's why I try to instill the purpose into my organization, so that people right now, and all my employees really, really helpful and really hard worker. They work 7 days a week, nonstop like me, within 8 months. So that's how we
Wow.
roll really quick.
Wow.
And the beauty thing about us is we build a system of 35 people. So that when one person have problem, we have backup.
Mhm.
So each department, I want to have at least 2 or 3 people to cover each other. So that's something happen, then we have the work still running. It's like a machine running 24 hours a day. So
Beautiful
that's how
system.
That's how I try to build it because I mean with me like at the warehouse it's real tough because salary is real high, and I have 3 people, 4 people. Oh my God, one people quit and then like my whole warehouse go to chaos.
Mhm.
It doesn't happen in Vietnam. So like a lot of workload at the warehouse, I try to outsource it back to Vietnam. It's helped a lot.
Very good. Well, I love the description of the system and how hardworking everyone you've brought in, that you've created a culture of hard work. Let me just suggest one thing for you to think about.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We mentioned already the law of specialization, which is just, to me it's the same as the law of gravity. You
Mhm.
don't get to decide how you feel about gravity.
Yeah,
It's going to be there exactly the same whether you like it or not, right?
for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
another one of those laws is the law of in Christian circles, it's called the law of the Sabbath, but
Mm,
it's been proven scientifically, mathematically, many other ways.
okay.
Companies that take a day a week off,
Mm,
individuals that take 1 day per week off, there's a reason a week is 7 days. It's set
right.
up because one of those days is the rest, recover, restore
Mm,
day. And
mm,
you can ignore that for a time. You can ignore it for a season, for a
right,
significant amount of time, actually. But
right,
eventually, it's going to hit you and you're going to
right,
give all those days you missed back in
right.
recovering somehow. I call it a season of intense focused effort. Okay, that's good, but I would suggest you'll go further faster
Mhm,
turning everything off 1 day per week and
mm.
letting everyone just kind of rest and recover and come back invigorated for that day one. Then just something to suggest.
No,
Uh,
no, that's a really good point. I've been thinking about it. I mean, people does take day off because only the leader who work like that, but the one who supporting the leader, then they alternate and take day off.
yeah.
But
So
so
ideally, everyone gets 1 day per week, and you just take it or
yeah,
leave it. But I've seen it play out over and over
definitely.
again. Do you know what the highest performing fast food restaurant is in the United States right now per capita?
I know.
Nope. The one that makes the most money per restaurant,
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A,
Mm,
blows everybody away. They're
right.
closed every Sunday, right? They're never open.
Good point. Good point.
I mean,
My
so
employee
I
will
mean,
be happy.
there's numerous real world examples of how this plays out. I mean, some people take 2 days a week off, and I'm like, that's unnecessary. 1 day a week is all you really were designed for. And yeah, but there you go, man. This is a little tip. Just as I'm listening to you describe your business model, and maybe someone else benefits from that as well. But just I want you to build something sustainable long
For
term,
sure.
right?
Definitely. Yeah.
I want to hear your 8 year story. Right now we're hearing your 8 month story. Hey, we'll get back to the program in just a second, but I've got to tell you about the great sponsor today, Seller Board. Get over to silentjim.com/numbers. Spell it out. silentjim.com/numbers numbers. You're going to see a link to the tool that has become quickly the preferred tool in our community for helping you track your numbers, helping you know which of your ASINs are making a profit and which ones you should walk away from, at least temporarily, because you're not making any money. It can be fairly tricky to know and dial in all the Amazon fees and all the expenses. Well, that's what Sellerboard helps you do, among a whole bunch of other things. It's a great tool that's become a great sponsor of this community. We've helped send a lot of very happy users their way. They've got a great discount for you as well. Get over to silentjim.com/numbers and check out Sellerboard. You're going to love what these guys are up to. It just keeps getting better and better. And their starting prices are so ridiculously low. Becomes a bit of a no-brainer. Go check it out. That's Sellerboard at silentjim.com/numbers. Let's get back to the show. Just I want you to build something sustainable long
For
term,
sure.
right?
Definitely. Yeah.
I want to hear your 8 year story. Right now we're hearing your 8 month story. So it's super excited. Well, what else do you want to talk about? What other tips or strategies do you have for the audience, or any questions for me? You've certainly uh, demonstrated a great deal of competence, and your business is fantastic. But there's always something we could be working on, or something else we could learn from you for sure. What else
Oh
is on your
yeah.
mind?
Oh yeah, for sure. So one thing that I feel like a lot of business owner, like the entrepreneur, is missing, we focusing too much on cutting expense. With me, like for example, me, like lately, I'm do a lot of things, but so we have a lot of stuff, aging inventory piling at the warehouse, and I pull the whole team, 4 people, checking the inventory, moving it around, and see if we can sell it. It took me 3 days. to do that. And
Mm,
3 days time 4 time 150. Oh my God, that money I can just throw all the inventory away and focusing on 3x my business. So
yes.
that's the thing that I feel like we focusing on expand too much and we lose the big picture that
Mm,
generate revenue is the most important thing. When
yeah.
we first started, move on quick and then make
Yeah.
more money instead of try to cut because you can only cut like 20% max or 10% max. You cannot cut it all, right? But
Yeah.
it you can increase 3 or 4 times your revenue easy.
That's an interesting topic for sure. I think a lot of business owners spend way too much time worried about we call it the death pile. It's the stuff we don't know what to do with. We bought too much of it or whatever. Just donate it, write it off,
Yeah,
reduce it to a number as quickly as you possibly can and move on because you don't factor in the time. It's like, oh, you know what we should do is take 2 weeks off and inventory everything and have a big yard sale and invite everybody in. Like, and you do the math when you're done. It's like, we just wasted so much time. Just donate it and write it off. That's the right answer so often. And if you've never done that before, I highly encourage it. That's we donate quite a bit of the stuff from our warehouse to
yeah, and and
the
and
food
that's
pantry.
totally two different approach, right? So
Mhm.
me, I try to get rid of my inventory. I pay salary, and that gone, right? But you
Mhm.
use that to donate, and it make you feel good. Here
Yeah.
I'm feeling
Well, it's a
frustrated
tax
because I
write-off
cannot
too.
sell it.
There's tax benefits to making
Yeah,
donations, right? So
there you
it's
go.
almost like selling it for 20% of what you were hoping to sell it for, but you've gotten rid of it now,
For
right?
sure.
No matter
Yeah,
how it makes you feel, you've reduced it to a number quickly and it's gone. So yeah, we underestimate the importance of speed, the velocity of inventory, right? You want it moving, you want it churning, you want your money turning over. And if it's sitting still and stagnant, rather than figuring out how to make the most money you can out of it, a lot of times, like you just said, Eric, get rid of it super cheap or even just throw it away. Just get it, move on, right?
right. Yeah.
Don't let it stagnate and slow you down and become
Yeah, and the more you think
an
about it,
anchor.
the more you frustrated, and you cannot
Mhm,
think about how to make more money. So that is
mhm.
like really bad activity.
Yeah. One of the mottos around here is, the solution to every challenge you run into is go find more ASINs that are profitable.
There
That
you
solves
go.
just go find more. When things
Right.
are stalled or stagnant or you're not sure what to do, go find more winning ASINs. That just puts more life blood into the system that you're building. So that's the beautiful solution to every challenge. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, you put it much better than me.
Well, that's what we coach around here all the time. You'll hear, Robin Joy and Brian Olson. They do the podcast episodes from time to time, and they'll talk about the
Great
different
people.
students that they're coaching, and the solution to every challenge any student ever runs into is always the exact same answer: go find more winning ASINs. They're everywhere. That solves literally every challenge you might run into. Right?
Right.
Just
Yeah.
it just don't buy too much of anything and find more winning ASINs. And this is a
I,
beautiful, profitable business model.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of mistake that people make, I still made it because I still new. But a lot of people they just go really deep. Like when you first
Mhm.
started and you see stuff on sale like 50%, 70%, you're like, oh my god, so cheap. Let me get it all. No one's gonna get it.
Buy 100 units. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
And it's great for the first 10, 15, 20 sales. And then someone else has 1,000 units and it's
for
cheaper than
sure.
yours. And you're like, oh
Yeah,
no, what am I going to do? Yeah, don't go so deep. That is the game is won by people who go very shallow into multiple different products. We call it inch deep, mile wide, right?
right.
That's one of the themes of that, the basic strategy that you're operating under. Well, you mentioned you're going to get into some bundles, Eric. Is that something that's on your radar?
Yeah, yeah, because we have like 10 VA that's sourcing the product right now,
Mhm.
and I divide them into category. So basically, we cover pretty much 5 category right now, and they developing the expertise in each category. So they know, hey, this stuff on sale, but this not so cheap. So I have eye and ears in the market right now of who's selling bundle and what stuff is moving. So with that, then we can just go deep in there, and we just gonna bundle the stuff that's selling, and then we just gonna move on to private label with the bundle. So I
Yeah,
think that makes sense for us to
it
start
does.
that model. So I'm partnering with someone right now who've been doing it for a while. And then one thing that I wanna just to share my experience is sometimes when you run a business, it's really hard to let go of control or being vulnerable to ask for help, because like, hey, if I ask for help, like then they gonna think that me don't know anything, or like you just don't want to share your secret sauce with people, right? Your secret recipe. But one thing that I learned is, like there's a saying called "Don't afraid of losing your recipe," because the stuff that people make not gonna taste as better than you because you are the secret ingredient. So it's
Right.
like, wow, it's amazing. Like, oh, that fit perfectly into the world of business because before I'm like, hey, I know a little bit about this category, I know a little bit about this strategy. I don't teach my team because I'm afraid that people are gonna take it from me and have their own company and
Hmm.
just compete with me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, like why I leave this mentality, like how I'm gonna build a business,
We
grow the
call it
business,
we
and
call it
worry
a
about my people. There
scarcity
you go.
mindset. Have you heard that term? Scarcity
Yeah,
mindset versus abundance mindset. Yeah.
yeah,
It
yeah.
all comes down to how much success you think is available in the world.
There you go.
And if you think success is available in abundance, anybody can have as much of it as they want at any level they want. All of us can have tremendous success. That's one
Awesome.
worldview. It's the worldview I have. And then
Hmm.
there's a lot of other people who see success as this limited, only a few people are going to get it. If some people get it, that means other people can't have it. They see
Right.
success as this limited pie. We call it the cake versus candlelight. Have you heard that, Eric?
Oh no, this is the way you put it. So beautiful.
Yeah, cake versus candlelight perspective of success. If
Mm,
success is like a cake sitting in the middle of the room on a table and we're all around the edge of the room, and suddenly someone says, go, and we all run in there with our forks and we get as much of that success cake as we can. Well, that's brutal. And a lot of people see the world that way. Success is a cake and only some of us get some, and then most people are left out. Well, in our community, we have an abundance mindset towards
nice.
success, which means any of us can have as much as we want. It's like lighting candles. You got a candle that needs lit? Here you go. It didn't hurt my candle at all to light your candle, and so forth, right? So you come from an abundance mindset towards success. You've been trained and you've mentored by, and you're surrounded now by a community of people who have that mindset. It completely changes the way you hire and train. If someone wants to be a competitor that I trained, hey, that's great. I've got plenty of people who have come through this community. They've risen up, they've become leaders, they've created content and courses and gone off and they lean and they're competing with us now. But it's such a huge ocean of opportunity. That's fine. I help them out. I give them advice. I send them clients. That's an abundance mindset. There will always be plenty more opportunity for all of us. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that topic up because that is vital. It helps you operate with more freedom as a leader as well when you're not paranoid,
Mm.
wondering who's going to take an idea from me and who can I trust. No, just bless people,
I mean,
serve
like
well. There's
you
always more
put
opportunity.
you put it so beautifully, the candle and the cake. And I'm like, I don't think that deep like you, but I'm just like, oh my God, like I have enough stuff that I need to worry about. And now I need to worry about the one who work for me and who to pick among my 35 people, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, I'm not gonna operate this like this. I'm gonna train them to be like me. And
Mhm.
then we're gonna 35x my company
Yeah.
instead of worry what they learn gonna compete with me, then I don't have any company, So
Right.
like that's why within the first 8 months, I'm building SOP for all the position
Yep.
and all the knowledge that I'm learning. I put into that. I don't hide anything from them, and that's what they appreciate. And I encourage them to talk to each other. The 10 department, they need to talk and learn and teach other people what they know so that way, everyone in the loop and everyone know exactly what the issue is, and we all get together and fix the issue. So that is the way I'm building the company. The abundant
Mhm.
mindset. I mean, the
Yes.
ocean, the
Beautiful.
cake, it's just too big. Like, why you want to have everything yourself? And how I'm gonna wrap the cake with all the team, So
Yeah.
like if it's just my team wrapping the cake, but I mean that's a 1,000 team wrapping the cake. So we need to be together and wrapping the cake instead of one person.
Yeah. Do you see yourself as a leader, Eric?
Yes,
Because
I
you are a
do.
tremendous leader.
Thank you
Business
so
is a
much.
leadership journey. And between the lines of everything you've said today, I just see a confident, positive, energetic
Thank you.
leader. And something you said earlier on too, that was is a great character trait that you'll want to hold on to as you start to succeed. Never give up that part of you that isn't afraid to ask questions, to look a little silly.
Right,
I see that happen to so many leaders as they get to the point where they think they're the one that's supposed to know all the answers. So they stop asking questions because they don't want to look incompetent.
right.
You've got to be willing to look incompetent to continue to raise in the ranks. So I ask some of the goofiest questions around here. My team has to shake their head sometimes, like, really? Jim doesn't
I
know
don't think
that?
so, Jim. You are
Like,
so smart.
no, but seriously, there's plenty
Right,
of things that I haven't done it in a few years, and now I don't know. I honestly don't remember.
right,
Like I'm prepping some packages with our team, which I don't do very often, and I'm putting the labels in the wrong place. Like, really, you don't know that? Like, how much have we sold online? Like, don't be afraid to make mistakes, to be vulnerable, because leading. I'm learning this, and I think you'll find this valuable, Eric. Is leading isn't about being the most competent person in the room.
right,
It's about producing leaders,
right.
right? So that means humility, servant minded. We're going to do this together. You're producing 35 leaders who are going to lead their portion of the organization as you lead your portion of the organization. A very flat org chart, right? We're all kind of doing this together. You're producing more leaders. That's the measure of a leader. That's why I pointed that out, is you're just producing a bunch of people. Some of them may go on to start their own business. That's beautiful. They'll always be good friends. They'll be finding new opportunities. They'll be bringing those opportunities to you. You can partner up and do fun things together. That's the mindset of a leader who sustains over the long
Yeah,
haul.
and then I feel like, like the world right now need more people helping young leader
It does.
because like me, like when I'm 21, I don't know anything. I wish
Mhm.
I have someone like you teaching me how to do business, and then like, man, I can save so much time. I'm 37 now, and now I start realize, like, hey, I need to have business instead of work for someone else. There's nothing wrong with work for someone else, but having a legacy for your family, it's just great. And young people, they play video game, and I mean a lot of bad culture, bad vibe. They need someone to help them, and that make America a better place. So that is
Yeah.
my dream of inspiring young leaders, inspiring people, help them to continue the journey because I feel like you just one key away from the door of opportunity, and one person gonna give it to you. You just need to look for it, and you will find that person. God gonna give it to you. The humility, like I don't know anything, but God give me the mission, so I try to help. I try to make the purpose bigger than my life, and keep going every day. And that's what I believe in.
Well, you're doing it brilliantly. You've got a beautiful story and you're just getting started. You're only 8 months in. I can't emphasize that enough. We have plenty of people who 8 months in, they're still trying to decide if they really want to do this or not. Maybe they've sent in a few shipments, but you went for it and you did it at scale and you did it fast and hard and you keep building your team. I love it. I can't say I would do it the same way that you've done it, but man, you're proof that it works.
Yeah,
And
I mean everyone has different goal, right? Because
absolutely, yeah.
I feel like one thing I learned is like it's really resonate with me when my dad had cancer last year. I was going through life. I'm not really happy. I'm leaving, but I'm not really happy. And I'm like, what I'm missing? I'm missing a purpose. And
Mhm.
then when I find Amazon, I realize the opportunity of outsourcing, providing more job for people. I'm like, wow, okay, this is what I'm missing. And then every day I'm just living a purpose. And I'm like, hey,
Mhm.
like people return my stuff. I have a lot of aging inventory. People quit left and right. It's nothing. It's nothing compared to the journey, the purpose that I'm gonna do. the purpose of helping people to get job, the purpose of
Yeah. New
inspiring young
customers.
people.
Yeah.
So it's just nothing. So I'm just move on, and that I feel like entrepreneur need to find a purpose. Why they doing this?
Mhm.
So if the purpose is bigger than their life, nothing can stop you. No
Yeah.
obstacle too big.
Yeah. Well, a couple of thoughts as I just listened to you through that segment, Eric, and I love talking to you, man. You've got such a great energy.
Thank you.
How's your dad?
Oh, he getting way better.
Good.
It's just like during COVID, they say he need to go check the colon cancer
Mhm.
to do colonoscopy, and then COVID hit, and we just delayed for a year. I that the biggest regret of my life. I feel like life is so short. You don't know what's gonna happen to you.
Mhm.
So whatever dream, whatever thing that you really wanna do, just do it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So
get on.
that lit a real fire under you. And one of the things I shared at the conference, I'm not sure if you were in there when I shared it or not, but I think it was morning 2 or morning 3. I put up that little graphic about how it's impossible to run a profitable business without dramatically improving the lives of countless others.
Oh, yeah, I was there,
Did you
yeah.
see that?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
that's what you are verbalizing, is you're recognizing that. Some people build businesses and they don't recognize that.
Correct.
Especially our culture in the United States has kind of pounded into us that business is evil and profit means you're a
Yeah,
bad person. And how are you
yeah.
going to
You need to
give back
lie to
someday?
people.
Now that you've succeeded, it's time to give back, like implying you stole something. No, every
Right.
customer along the way, it was a voluntary transaction in a free market system. They wanted what I sold them. Their life was better. They wanted
Definitely.
that product more than they wanted their money. So they're grateful for the transaction, right? So you're
Yes.
just creating a wave of not only happy customers, but all the suppliers and the delivery personnel and the people that invented the components. I can hold up this little pin. How many people went into making this pin happen?
Oh, yeah.
Million.
Correct.
Million people are involved in getting this pin from where it was as natural resources buried in the dirt somewhere to on
Yeah.
my desk working so I can take notes while I'm talking to my friend Eric, right? Like that's a million lives improved because somebody marketed and sold and I eventually bought or was given as a marketing material that pin. Like so you run a profitable business, you are dramatically improving the lives of countless other people, most of whom you'll never meet. If you're profitable, that's 100% true 100% of the time.
Mhm.
It's that you're a self-sustaining machine of just goodness and opportunity and abundance. And you're able to recognize that. Some business owners they struggle to recognize that it's one of the most virtuous activities you can engage in, running a profitable business. And so I think that's where a lot of your energy is coming from, along with that motivation you receive, seeing your dad sick, thinking about the brevity of life. Like, man, let's do something big. Let's do something significant. So kudos to you. We need a
Oh,
lot more people that think like you, in my opinion. We need a
thank
lot
you.
more.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people already did that. They just don't have the thing that hit them, like the life changing event like happened to my dad. It's just yeah. I don't wish anyone go through that, but I just feel like with my personal story, it just give them that kick. Like just do the thing you want, man. Like what the upside, what the downside, right? Like
Mhm.
just do it. And then
Yeah,
one day you look back, you will be happy that you make that decision.
absolutely. Yes, the Jim Rohn quote is coming to mind right now. I like listening to Jim Rohn and some of the old motivational sales and business guys, and he
That's
talks
my
about
favorite.
become a millionaire. He says, set out to become a millionaire. Aim for it, not so you can have $1 million. That's nice. That's a nice side benefit. But so you can become the type of person who's capable of having $1 million. That is a nice goal. That you're going to have to change your attitude, your health, your connections, your relationships, your motivations. Everything's going to have to come into alignment in order for you to become that person. So set out for $1 million and make yourself the sort of person who can have 1 million. That's the real journey.
Right.
And because business, again, it's a leadership and self improvement journey. It's really what it is. Learning to serve well means you've got to take care of yourself and improve who you are as part of that journey. Well, man, it's great hanging out with you. Is there anything else on your list, Eric, today that as we start to wrap this one up, I do need to go soon, but is there anything else that you are wanting to get into this episode today, or any questions for me, or any other tips?
Yeah, so I just want to see like how you run just a massive organization, the way you think, and who is the one who influence in your life the most, because I
Mm.
always want to know that, like, so that
Mm.
I can reflect back upon my life and and learn from that guy basically, so I
Yeah.
can, be like Jim, or I don't think I
I
can be
don't know
like
if you want to be like me, but I appreciate the question. And actually, I have a good number of mentors. I believe in the model, and this is another biblical truth. You're always mentoring someone, and you're always being mentored by someone. And if you don't know who those people are, you're missing out on a great deal of what life has to offer. And the leadership journey, again, of business requires that as well. Who are you mentoring? Who are you bringing along behind you? And who is mentoring you? Who are those people who are a little further out ahead of you, right?
Hmm,
That have been there, done that, and could speak into your life with wisdom. Like the cake versus candlelight illustration I used earlier. That's from my good friend Rabbi Daniel Lapin, who I talk to on a regular basis. And here's one of his books. I don't have his other, I've got a couple of his books, but he's one of my mentors, Rabbi Daniel Lapin. Thou Shalt Prosper is a great book. It talks about
nice.
biblical principles of money and finance. The Bible says twice as much about money and business and finance as it does about love and prayer. Everyone thinks
Hmm,
it's a book about love and prayer, and it is, but it says twice as much about money and business. And
interesting.
so many timeless lessons in there that I've applied to my business, because your question was, how do you run a large organization? We've got,
Yes,
for those who don't know, we've got about 100, over 110 people on our team that I would consider working to serve this community, the people
nice.
that listen to this podcast. I'm talking about content creators, moderators, coaches, administrators, support staff, right? The people that run this community. Now, none of them work full time for me or for
Hmm,
that organization, with only a couple of exceptions. It's a full time job for maybe 4 or 5 people. For the rest of
hmm,
them, this community resonates with them. They love what the community is all about, much like the door might be open to you very soon, Eric. You're like, hey, I wouldn't mind creating some course or content or stepping into a leadership role and contributing with a few hours of my week to building this community while getting paid well to do so. So that's where our leaders come from, is people who, step one, they've succeeded doing the things that we teach here, which tells me a lot about them. That tells me they're on a leadership journey. They're successfully sustaining a profitable business, which means they've got a lot of character. They've got a lot of good connections and relationships. They're working on themselves, improving themselves. Sustaining a profitable business over a long period of time makes you a very safe bet as a human being. That's another timeless biblical principle, actually. So if all I know about you is you sustained a profitable business over a significant period of time, I'm willing to work with you on a project. I know that there's a lot
awesome.
of good things going on there. Not
I
that
would
there
love.
aren't any, you'll meet the occasional crook who succeeded, but typically they crash and burn eventually. That's why I say succeed over a significant period of time, right? So you've got someone with relationships and connections and integrity. They've done those things. If you have a chance to work with and partner up with and build things with those kinds of people, that's a very strong organization. So our coaching team, for example, the 60 coaches on our team, they've all demonstrated their ability to sustain profitability over an extended period of time. I know who I'm working with now.
Yeah.
We have a few conversations. We make sure our worldviews align enough to know that, hey, we're serious about serving this community with excellence, and they have a teacher's heart. We plug them in. Off we go. So I may have only had an hour or two worth of time interacting with some of the best coaches on our team.
Yeah,
We've
I mean,
only met.
it's amazing how you find those people. I went to the conference, man, like all the people are so knowledgeable, amazing, and they all work with Jim, like, wow,
Mhm.
Jim is
It's
great.
one of the principles I learned from Rabbi Daniel Lapin, who pulls his principles from the Bible, is, if the only thing I know about you, I can't emphasize this enough. This is a great life principle. And actually, Robert Kiyosaki talks about it a little bit in his Rich Dad Poor Dad books. He says, if you were dropped into the middle of a town and you knew nobody, and you were only going to get a chance to talk to a handful of people and hopefully find someone who would truly help you and care for you and give you good advice, where should you go? What part of town? Where would you want to go? He said, you'd want to go to the nicest part of town where the nicest houses are, because those are the people who've built businesses. They've sustained wealth over a significant period of time, which can only be done in one of two ways: by totally stealing it from people and being a total dirtbag criminal, which is one, and there's not many of those people out there, or two, they've built a beautiful business or been associated with a beautiful, successful business, which means they know how to serve. These are people with big hearts. These are people typically of extreme generosity. Those are the people you want to meet. So that principle, I took it to heart and I said, okay, I want to build an organization of people who have proven their ability to run a profitable business over a significant period of time. That's the kind of people I'm going to work with. It's not going to be the people I like or the people I interviewed and yeah, we kind of resonated with each other. That's great and I can appreciate that. But the safer bet is someone who's built and sustained a profitable business over a significant period of time, because that tells me that their health, their relationships, their ability to serve others, their character, the kind of person they are, the drive they have. I know so much about that person. I don't care what the business is. If they've run profitable business, they're the one in charge of meeting payroll for a profitable business over an extended period of time. That person is amazing. And if you get a chance to work with them and build something with them, do it. And so my whole organization is built on that. It's a great question you asked me, Eric, and it's a topic of passion for me as well. But I just see it as I've found some of the most incredible people who believe, at least 80 to 90% believe in exactly what I do as far as how to serve this community with excellence. So yeah, come on, man. You build a beautiful business, you see the vision, let's go. Let's build it. And maybe it's for a season of time. Maybe it's for, in some cases, 20 years. We've got people on our team who've been here 20 years now.
Wow,
But
amazing.
yeah, that's our whole organization is built around that principle. And
Great.
very much as well, Eric, the advice I would give you too is you want to build an organization that's built around the eat what you kill principle. There's
Mm,
nobody who just kind of shows up and waits for work to land on their desk, because no, everybody's out there looking for opportunities to build, to serve, to grow, to be more profitable. You eat what you kill,
mm,
meaning if you're not in there hitting it and grinding, there's nothing for you. No
right.
one's on the payroll where they just get the same check every week.
Correct.
No one.
Mm,
You show up, you work, you get paid for that work. Even our coaches, let's say
mm,
they have a coaching student, they get paid for coaching sessions. They don't get paid for a student.
mm,
They get paid for sessions coached.
mm,
Big difference, right? Because now they've got an incentive and it's built into our system where, yeah, they're going to be talking to their students because that's how they get paid, right?
right.
It's not one check we cut at the beginning of the relationship.
Correct.
And
Mm,
another biblical principle, by the way, you get paid for work completed.
cool.
That's how businesses should operate.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that I'm still trying to build at my company, to give people incentive to measure the performance. If you excel, then we're gonna give you more um,
Ownership. Yeah.
ownership of the
Give
company.
them ownership, give them ways to feel like they own the process and they are rewarded for their contribution.
Correct.
Where they feel it. If they slack off, their pay drops. If they hit it hard, their pay goes up. And they
Mm,
can associate the payment they're receiving with the amount of effort they're putting in.
correct.
That's the perfect arrangement.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So as your
Awesome.
business grows, yeah, you share the profits, you share the pain, you share the profits. That's the team, man. That's the perfect team.
Awesome.
Yeah. Great question, man. I love this kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, thank you for all the wisdom, man. I wish we can talk more, and then I can learn more from you. It's just so many things that I want to know more.
Well, let's do it, man. Get on my calendar again. We don't have to record a podcast every time. You're an emerging leader. And again, like I said earlier, and I mean every word of it, the way to measure a leader is the number of leaders they produce. And another way to measure a leader is what remains after that leader is gone. One of the, I call myself Silent
That's
Jim, and
really
sometimes
deep.
people like, why do you say silent? And well, one of the reasons, there's about 30 reasons. I won't go into all of them. One of the reasons is one day my voice will be silent. I don't
Hmm.
get to choose when that is.
No, a lot of people will be sad, you
Well,
know.
yeah, there'll be a handful of people who will be sad at that point. I'll be gone at some day, and we all will, right?
Yeah.
But the true measure of my leadership will be what remains a year, 2 years, 5 years after I'm gone. Who's still saying, yeah, I remember that lesson I learned from, not so much about being about me, but the lessons, have they been passed down? You mentioned the legacy earlier. What are you pouring into others? Those things will remain. And one day
Mm,
I'll be silent, but will my impact continue? Not so that I can be recalled, but as a Christian, to me, I want it all to reflect back to Christ, right? Like, people forget who I am. That's fine. I don't care. But they remember, like, man, that guy, he led me closer into the kind of person that I wanted to be, the lessons I learned, the things he said, he pushed me closer to God. He pushed me closer to my spouse. I have a better relationship with my kids. My business thrived. If you can have that kind of impact, even after your voice has gone permanently silent, man, that's a great way to live your life. It's an other-oriented way to live your life is ultimately what it is. And you've got a whole lot of other-oriented thinking just naturally inside of you, Eric, and I
Oh,
love it.
thank you. Thank you. You're so kind.
I love it. I'm excited to thought of to get to work with you some more in the future, and I can't wait to see where that takes us. But I do need to wrap this up, man. We're out of time now. You got me
For
talking
sure.
about business models. I could go all day, but
I understand.
it was tremendous. Well, let me just talk to the listeners for just a moment, okay? And those who joined us on this episode, thanks for hanging out with Eric and I today. Hope you had a great time. I'm sure you got some good golden nuggets from Eric's wisdom and experience. And man, what a challenge. It challenged me to see what he's done in just 8 short months. If you're ready to jump into a community full of people who think like this, who are building these kind of things, we've got a free Facebook group at silentjim.com. Jump in there, check it out. If you want to hear hundreds more interviews like this with successful students from our community, those episodes are at the same place, silentjim.com. Jump over there, check it out. We'd love to have you be a part of what we're building here and join our community. So on behalf of the team that puts these things together, thanks for joining us today. And hey, Eric, one more time, buddy. Great job. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for everyone.
We'll talk again to you, Eric, soon. And to all the listeners, the business building warriors, God bless you. We're in your corner. I'll have another great episode for you very soon. Thanks for joining us. Hey, one last thing before I let you go today. A little reminder, today's sponsor was Seller Board. They are a tremendous partner of this community. They've been supporting hundreds of users who listen to this show, who are thrilled with the service they're providing from a simple tool that helps you know if you're profitable or not in your Amazon business, which of your ASINs are winning, making you money, which ones are losing, costing you some money that need to be cut out. It would be so helpful to know, wouldn't it? Well, that's what Sellerboard does. It's very simple to set up, low costs to get started. They've got a special offer for our community, and you can check it out at silentjimdotcom/numbers. Go check them out. Thanks, Sellerboard. Hey, we'll have another great episode for you very soon.